and
Withdraw my
restate
second.
it. I move that we approve the board minutes for March 25th.
Second. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Dr. Joyner, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote to approve the March 25th meeting minutes. Mr. Wilcox,
Yes.
Dr. Joyner,
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough,
Yes.
Dr. Benitez,
Yes.
Ms. Downer.
Yes.
Are the students on? No. Mayor Elicker,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well, and so that item passes. Next item would be the personnel report. Dr. Negron.
Thank you. Before I ask for your approval, there's some folks that I would like to acknowledge on their retirements. So we have Bernadette Cassell, a special education teacher at Brennan Rogers School, who will retire at the end of June. She has served for 15 years, serving students, families, and the entire community. We also have Mary Beth Kiley, a special education teacher at King Robinson Magnet School, who will be retiring on July 1st. She has served for 25 years with NHPS. We also have Minnie Taber, a second grade teacher at Janice Martinez, retiring also at the end of June, who has served for 25 years. And last but not least, Hyanseth Leotard, a pre-K teacher at Davis Academy Magnet School, who will return June 17th after serving 17 years. And I'm also tonight asking for approval for my recommendation of Sandy Elizabeth Jackson for supervisor of speech and special education. This is not a new position. This is a vacancy as a result of the retirement of Dr. Glynis King Harrell. Ms. Jackson is a native of New Haven. She has served with dedication as a speech language pathologist for 31 years. She has worked at numerous schools through our district, including Ross Woodward Classical Studies Magnet School, Augusta Lewis Troop, MLK, Clinton Avenue, and Riverside, to name a few. She has been an integral member of the Wexler Grant Community School family for 25 years. Besides providing speech and language services, Ms. Sandy Jackson has supervised speech and language interns and mentored new employees as they pursue the Certificate of Clinical Competence from the American Speech and Hearing Association. Ms. Jackson has also provided guidance and clinical expertise to students pursuing their master's degree in communication disorders at Southern Connecticut State University. As an adjunct supervisor, she imparted her knowledge of evidence-based practices, methodologies, strategies, and activities that assisted students in their service delivery and development of clinical competence. Sandy Jackson has been actively involved in her school communities. Her involvement in community has benefited her schools through tutoring and mentoring activities. It is my honor to recommend that you approve Sandy Jackson as your supervisor of speech and special education effective July 1st, 2024.
Thank you, Dr. Negron. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes, I move that we approve the superintendent's, the action items of the superintendent's personnel report.
Is there a
Second.
second? Thank you, Dr. Joyner. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on the, oh, Dr. Joyner?
Yes, I'll be brief. Sandy Jackson is another example of the kind of students that we produce in the New Haven Public School System. Great family, and a great person. I didn't know if we could find anybody to replace Miss Glynis, but certainly Sandy was brought up under that, and we're going to be fine. So I'm very happy to vote for somebody that I've known since she was a child, and she's straight out of New Hallville.
Thank you, Dr. Joyner. Okay. See no further discussion, we'll vote on the action items of the personnel report. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Dr. Joyner?
Yes.
Ms. Downer?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Dr. Benitez?
Yes.
Mayor Elicker?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well, and so that item passes. Congratulations. And congratulations also to the retirees.
Mhm.
And then we have a few minutes for Ms. Jackson
Sure.
to come up to the podium.
Absolutely. Button on the right.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Superintendent Madeline Negron, members of the Cabinet, Board of Education members, colleagues of New Haven Public Schools, family, source, and friends. I am excited and enthusiastic about the opportunity to work with the district in this new capacity as the supervisor for speech and hearing. As my biography indicates, I have served professionally as a proud speech and language pathologist for 31 years. My story and involvement with New Haven Public Schools, however, spans for 50 years, for I worked as a teenager first as a CETA youth counselor at Lincoln Bassett School, and later as a dance instructor for the former Jackie Robinson Middle Schools. During my undergraduate summers, I worked in the business office under Linda Hannins and Frank Altieri, and upon graduation in personnel with Charles Deffenbaugh and the late Ernest Casella. My work experiences helped develop my interpersonal skills and provided a keen insight about this wonderful district. I later appreciated the encouragement to pursue higher education from individuals like former Superintendent Dr. Reginald Mayo, the late Ms. Jeffrey Frazier, and Dr. Glennis King Harrell. The late Dr. Sandra C. Holly, chair of the communications department and later dean of the Southern Connecticut State University Graduate School, was also one of my strongest supporters. The career as a speech language pathologist has been both rewarding and challenging. However, assisting young people to become better communicators through the enhancement of their language and articulation skills has always been the primary goal. Additionally, it has been necessary to provide help toward facilitating students' basic needs as well, which have been supported through community networks and partnerships with the businesses and professional groups, church partners, my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and others. After all, our mission is to help young people to learn, to achieve, and to rise. Thus, we examine the whole child and address what they need to become successful. I am looking forward to working collaboratively with the student services teams, the school building staffs, and individuals throughout the district in order to make the best decisions for our students. I especially await the opportunity to lead, to encourage, to support my staff in order to assist them to have a greater impact on the lives of our young people. No level of achievement is ever reached in isolation. So I especially want to thank my mother, Thelma Jackson, who is here in spirit, because she dedicated 45 years in this district as an assistant teacher and later as a job coach. She is the reason that I can stand before you today. Her lessons were to go to work on time, give your best to the student, and to help others. And so I hope I make her proud by what I'm doing at this time. I also want to thank my family members, my family, my sister-in-law, and my uncle. I'm so happy to have him here with me as he celebrates 100 years of age.
Go.
And he's dressed to the
So
nines.
he's another reason why I have to work hard, because I need to be a shining example of what my mother instilled in me. My church family, my Elm City BMP sisters, and everyone who's here to support me. Finally, I would like to thank Superintendent Negron, Executive Director Tiffany Jackson, the current supervisor, Dr. Glynis King-Harrell, and all individuals who served on the interviewing team for your support and faith in me. I know I have quite a legacy to follow because Dr. Glynis King-Harrell has been an icon in this district and for my entire career. I appreciate all she has done, the wisdom she has offered me, and the imprint she has made. And I wholeheartedly embrace this opportunity at this moment to continue the work and to work on behalf of the young people in this district. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Congratulations. I have to say, I love that Dr. King-Harrell was here to support you and pass on the baton. Thank you. Okay, and so does that conclude your personnel report, Dr. Negron?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then we'll move on to the F&O items. Mr. Wilcox?
All right, thank you. Before I get started, just checking in to see if anybody would like anything moved separately. And to say that I also will be moving the memorandum of understanding that's on the action item separately already. All right, hearing nothing, I will go ahead and make the first motion here as I move that we approve the grant memorandum of understanding by and between the State of Connecticut Judicial Branch and New Haven Board of Education for a Youth Service Prevention Program grant.
Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Yarborough. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote to approve the memorandum of understanding. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Benitez?
Yes.
Ms. Downer?
Yes.
Dr. Joyner?
Yes.
Mayor Elicker?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well, and so that item passes.
All right, and next motion, I move that we approve the 2 abstracts, 1 agreement, 1 amendment, and 1 contract as recommended by the Finance and Operations Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Yarborough. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on the remaining F&O items. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Ms. Downer?
Yes.
Dr. Benitez?
Yes.
Dr. Joyner?
Yes.
Mayor Elicker?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well, and that item passes. And we will move on to this is the new agenda template, so the students report. Students are not here. So we'll move on to teaching and learning. Dr. Joyner?
I don't have anything to report other than we had a great meeting today with the strategic planning group. And teaching and learning is a subgroup of that group. And I want to say, Dr. Negron, you made some good hires. I think that we'll be proud of the report once we get all the priorities straight. And it's our job to try to create the policy support for what she's trying to do. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Joyner. Any questions or comments for Dr. Joyner? Facilities Naming Committee, Dr. Joyner?
No new names presented. We're waiting on the people who sponsored the 2 folks that we did approve to provide the time and date that would be good for them, so we can go ahead and go into Clemente Hill House and put the signage up and have some type of
Any
ceremony.
questions or comments? Oh, thank you, Dr. Joyner. Questions or comments for Dr. Joyner? Seeing none, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Negron?
Thank you so much. I do want to invite Assistant Superintendent Keisha Revhanens. to join me in this presentation. And before she presents, I do want to publicly recognize the Summer Learning Planning team for working since mid-January to bring this plan together. Thank you to the members of the academic team, the student support team, the Office of Family and Youth Engagement, the multilingual department, transportation, facilities, as well as our assistant superintendents. And I want to thank Assistant Superintendent Red Hannons for actualizing on my vision for a focused, coherent, and high-quality summer learning plan to advance student achievement this summer while also being fiscally responsible with our limited financial resources. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Red Hannons.
Thank you, Dr. Negron, and good evening to the members of the board and to the public. As Dr. Negron stated, I'm coming before you to present our summer learning plan for 2024. This was a task that we have before us, as many other districts, as the ARP ESSER funds are sunsetting, to still provide quality programming for our students and an enriching experience over the summer, by being fiscally responsible, but still focusing on our purpose to advance student achievement. Dr. White, you can go to the next slide. So our summer learning plan will run from July 1st, 2024 to July 31st, 2024. Within our summer learning plan, we will have 6 programs. Our grades K-8 program, our ESY extended school year, grade 9 summer bridge, our English Learners Academy, high school credit recovery, and our dual credit programming. So these are all of our K-12 extended learning opportunities. I'll take a minute and go through each of them individually. Next slide. Our K-8 learning plan. So this is our regular summer school plan. You may recall in the past, it's been K-4 or K-5, SOARs. What we were able to do as a team, we were able to combine the programs to make one K-8 learning plan. We will house our K-8 summer school program in 10 different locations throughout the city. We made sure that we were able to have schools located in different geographical regions in the city to make it accessible for all of our students that were interested in joining our program. The program will run either 8 to 12:30 or 9 to 1:30. And you see a sample schedule is listed. Our students will have science, literacy, enrichment opportunities, recess, math, and the field trips. Field trips is key. It's very important this year for our students. We want to make sure that we provide our students with those outdoor experiences that they may not normally have. So we're focused on hiking and fencing. Yes, you also see swimming and arts and crafts. Part of our program, you will also see that we're adding continuing, I should say, our coding week, our world languages week, as well as arts and residency as well. Transportation will be provided for this program for our K-8 students. And all of our Rising K students are eligible to be a part of this program. Next, we have our extended school year program. Our extended school year program is for students with disabilities that are eligible to receive additional support in the summer. This program, although we focus on reading, writing, and mathematics, it's also an enrichment component to this program, as well as a focus on transitional skills. You'll notice that this program is located in East Rock and Jepson, but also in Wilbur-Cross, one of our high schools. I'm sure our new supervisor of social work will be paying a visit to our kids in our ESY program as well. And this program runs from 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Transportation is provided, of course, for our New Haven residents. Next, we have our grade 9 Summer Bridge and High School English Learners Academy. So we wanted to make sure we formalize our grade 9 Summer Bridge program. Why? Because when we look at our disengaged youth and we look at our chronic absenteeism rates, we know that it's particularly high amongst 9th grade students. As a team, we've been focusing on looking at the make or break it year and studying with our principals and assistant principals throughout the year. A team has been working with them to ensure that they can focus on grade 9 and the slippage that occurs. That team includes Dr. White, Director Johnson, Edith Johnson, Director, Supervisor Swingler, and Supervisor Dina Natalino. So they've been working with our principals all year. And part of that is we know it's important to bridge the gap between middle school and high school. And so all of our high schools will run a grade 9 summer bridge program. This program will include, of course, an introduction to academics, but it's also about building relationships, team building, and focusing on college and career. We will look at our student success plans and also do career and college exploration as well. And so we're excited that we're housing our grade 9 summer bridge program for all of our high schools, and they will be open for a week. And then we have our High School English Learners Academy. The English Learners Academy welcomes our newcomers to the city. This program, our students are recommended by their counselors, and they work directly with our multilingual learners department. And we provide programming for them over the summer as well, but this is specifically for our newcomers. And this program is housed at Hill House. Transportation, bus passes will be provided to students in these programs. Next slide, please. Next, we have our high school credit recovery program. This is for students who may not have been successful during the school year and may have failed a course or two. And so this is an opportunity for them to acquire credit over the summer. Our students are eligible to acquire up to 2 credits over the summer. Some of our offerings include your Algebra 1, Geometry, English 1, English 4, Science. You're looking at our integrated science, our biology, our chemistry, and the courses can change based upon the needs of the students. So at this time, we have a survey out to our principals, and our counselors are helping to complete for students who are in danger of failing so that we can know what courses we need to offer over the summer to allow our students to acquire credit. And this application will be live May 1st to May 31st as our counselors complete the information so that we can allow our students to apply to be part of this program. And this program will be housed in Metro, Hill House, and Wilbur Cross. Then we have our dual credit options. We focused a lot. Supervisor Natalino has come before you to talk about opportunities where students are able to earn college credit while still attending high school. And so we have some university credit options for our over the summer as well, in partnership with Southern Connecticut State University, as well as Yale University. And we are also offering internship opportunities. Those of you who recall, I think it was about a month ago, we were at Circle, opening up their final early childhood room. And so we have up to 10 NHPS high school students that will be able to intern at Circle over the summer. Now, of course, our hope for these students are that they eventually come back into New Haven after matriculating through college and be teachers, certified teachers within the district. And so that opportunity is also available for our students who are interested in CNA, We are running 2 cohorts in collaboration with Southern Connecticut State University for our students to receive an industry certification at the conclusion of this cohort program, as well as our students in our Education Leadership Academy. We have students at Cross, Hill House, and Metropolitan in the education pathways. Those students will be given top priority to partner and attend the Education Leadership Academy at Southern, as well as the Business Academy at SCSU as well. And those programs are only run from June 17th to June 28th, but it will allow them to earn credits. And then you have the Schaefer program, which has been around for a very long time. Up to 8 high school students can attend the Schaefer program across the district. And so what do we need? We need community-based organizations. What I didn't talk when I spoke of the enrichment activities, in particular in our K-8 program, as well as in our Summer Bridge program, we are folding in our community-based organizations to partner with us to be a part of programming, not as a program as an aside. So what does that mean? For the board, anyone that we're bringing before you to partner with us this summer, they will be a part of our overall K-12 learning plan. So what we found is we were partnering with organizations, providing them with funding, but we actually were competing with ourselves, because we had students who may attend a community-based organization program, but they really needed to be in one of our K-3 programming receiving academic support. And so by us being able to fold in our community-based organizations, this is allowing us to provide an enriching experience for our students, but also ensuring that we can provide them with the academic support that is needed over the summer as well. We have a request for qualification process that is active as of today, and it will end. The deadline is April 23rd. Of course, we're seeking organizations that have a proven track record of engaging in high interest activities for our children, and that's willing to work within our K-12 summer learning program. Finally, we're hiring. We need staff, right? So we need staff in order to see our K-12 learning plan and actually see it in play. And so we're looking for certified teachers, building leaders, paraprofessionals, curriculum leaders, special ed, and bilingual teachers to support our program. And with that said, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Ms. Redhannons, Mr. Wilcox?
I just want to say thank you for the presentation. It looks, been on the board now for coming up on 5 years, and I think the summer programs have always been good, and this is just going to make that even better. I really like hearing about the coordination with all these different programs and the community-based organizations as well. I'll just point out that this is a new process that we've discussed in our last board meeting in the F&O report, where it's going through the bonfire, the city purchasing site. And I know that YFCE has been reaching out to anybody that they've ever worked with as a community partner to get these contracts. And so I know that word's going out, but it is a new thing that I think we should highlight because it's a quick turnaround, because those contracts need to happen and get through the finance committee and the board and after being vetted by staff. So I just wanted to highlight that that's one thing that's a little different this year than in previous years as part of this more coordinated summer programming. But thank you. Sounds great.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Ms. Downer and then Dr. Benitez.
So I just wanted to echo, what Mr. Wilcox has said. Thank you, Mrs. Hannons and Dr. Negron for putting this together for the summer learning program. It is important. It is extremely important for the students to continue to learn, especially during the summertime. I'm pretty sure the plan that you laid out was so robust, and it is full with everything these students are going to need for this summer to prevent any summer slide. And of course, for the students to retain their academic skills and knowledge. Once again, I want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Downer. Dr. Benitez and then Dr. Joyner.
Yes, again, I think people have said this, but I have to say it. This is a coherent summer program presentation. I am sure it's going to be a little bit of growing pains, but I congratulate the team for thinking in a way that you can actually continue programming. My heart is full when I see science and I see activities that allow children to develop emotionally and socially. And yes, of course, I want them to learn to read and do math. Don't take me wrong, but I am very happy to hear about this. I'm also very excited about partnering with community organizations instead of splitting our kids and not giving kids the academics they need during the summer because their families may prefer other things. So I am very happy to see that this team has come up with a great plan. And thank you, Ms. Hannans and Dr. Negron for the great leadership team that you've become. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Benitez. Dr. Joyner?
I just want to echo everything that's been said and to thank both Dr. Negron and Ms. Red Hannans for connecting the various elements in the district around the needs of kids. Unfortunately, some systems, they don't know what's going on the west side of the system, the north side and what have you. And I've worked with Keisha long enough to know that she sees the connections and she's making them. And the unsung heroes in all of this, she has a great team. So thank you very much. And it's really great to see a New Haven graduate that really has come back to serve this community, as well as a superintendent that knows exactly what it's like to struggle and overcome disadvantage. So thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Joyner. Mayor Elicker?
Thanks for the presentation. This is great. I had a couple quick questions. Is everything free?
Everything's free for our students.
For the students, yeah.
Yes.
Not
everything's
for
free.
everyone else.
No, for New
not
Haven
for the
Public School
taxpayers.
students. Thank you.
Understood. And just given that, do you have a sense of how many students you think you're going to get? Because I mean, the K through 8 is open to everyone, which is amazing.
So typically we have somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 students applying to be a part of our overall programming. We're getting the application out early to see what the pool looks like. We'll work with hiring around that, but I'm anticipating around maybe a little bump up from that. But although you have that many students apply, not everyone attends. And so we'll be monitoring our numbers daily once summer school begins to see what is our average attendance, but we're anticipating somewhere between the 2,000 and 2,500.
And then other than the dual enrollment, you don't cap it?
The summer school, no, we have not capped summer school. We have not capped summer school. We know that would then be a financial, right, burden, and that would be a challenge I think that we would welcome on our end if we have that many students that really want to engage in our programming over the summer.
Have you contemplated, because the school or the particular K through 8 goes till noon or 1, if there's any coordination with other programs so that for working families, they may have opportunities?
Great question. We have spoken to community organizations that offer programming typically in the summer that would be willing to take our kids right after, at the conclusion of our programming. Maybe they'll utilize our buildings and then our kids would be able to seamlessly go right into their program. So we have spoken to some other programs about that opportunity, and it seems like that's the way we're going to go, to give our parents an option. Quite honestly, we recognize concluding at 12:30 and 1:30 for the working family may be a little tough. And so that's why we have engaged in those conversations. So we feel confident that we will have some other options through some of our other partner organizations that may not be folded into the NHPS program to provide those supports.
Thanks.
If I may, I just want to add, although it is open to everyone, and we want to encourage families to register children, we also want to see commitment. We're talking about 4 weeks, lots of resources going into this intentional planning. So we want families to be cognizant when registering that they're committing to have their children participate for the month of July. I would hate to see sort of like seats, in a sense, like wasted. So we are going to be taking a close look at those numbers because again, we're talking about financial resources that are being put into play to be able to create this exciting program for all of our students. So families, again, I am asking for your support, for you to think about summer, and please do encourage your children. But again, we want them there just during the regular school year. We want them there every day to take advantage of the learning opportunities.
Okay, and does that conclude the report?
Yeah, just before I go, I
Sure.
do want to just shout out the team, Youth Family Community Engagement Office, the Office of Student Services, the academic team, facilities team as well, for their support. We also have some assistant principals who also help in coordinating efforts. So I want to shout them out because they were willing to take this journey with us after Dr. Negron laid down her vision, and we were able to put this cohesive plan together. So thank you all. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hannons, before you go,
Dr. Benitez?
yes, I had my hand raised. I have just a question. If you could clarify what Rising K through 8 means so that parents understand who are those children.
Great. So our rising K to 8 students are current pre-K 4 to 7th grade students. So for example, if I'm currently in 5th grade right now, I would be a rising 6th grader. But if I'm currently in 8th grade, the program that I should be looking for is the Summer Bridge program. Once I receive the lottery, the choice and enrollment results, I should be looking forward for information from my 9th grade principal because I'll be in the Summer Bridge program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benitez. And Ms.
Um,
Red Hannons, thank you. Oh, Dr. Yarbrough, did you want to?
Yes, I just have a
comment or ask a
comment and question. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for jumping in the last minute. It's to
Sure.
touch on the summer bridge for 9th graders. I think I heard you mention that you looked at the data and saw that there was some disengagement around the 9th grade. So it sounds like this is a real strategic move for the district and even could be for parents to either re-engage or up their engagement of their young people as they transition from middle school to high school. Is that the case?
Yes. When we look at our attendance numbers, kindergarten and 9th grade, those are the 2 grades that stand out the most. And so we always want to make sure we're engaging our 9th graders, but also giving them a safe place to learn their new layout, their new environment, so that they're not entering school on the first day with the seniors and the juniors. You know, when you're coming out of 8th grade, you're kind of like the big dog, and you're leaving 8th grade, and now you're in 9th grade, and now you're back, you know, to being a freshman, trying to learn the layout. This is a great opportunity for our teachers and staff in the high schools to wrap their arms of support around our 9th graders, build relationships, but also start looking at student success plans to see what's of interest to the students that are coming in. Every class is different, and this makes sure that we have programming for those students that will keep them engaged and keep them wanting to come back to school.
That's great. Thank you. I participated in the Summer Bridge program and actually went by that name as I was transitioning schools. And it helped me do just what you said. It helped boost my academics so I could be prepared for the higher level work, particularly in math and writing. And it also helped me to find the layout of the classrooms so that I wasn't so new when the actual academic year started. So just applaud your team and kudos to the district for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yarborough. Okay. Dr. Negron, does that conclude your report?
That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. And so we'll move on to the president's report. And I'll just say really quickly, I texted all of the board members earlier today in the hopes of getting a quorum or getting everyone to be able to attend a day 2 of our board retreat on April 15th, which is next Monday. And most of you have responded yes. And so I'm going to go ahead and schedule the second day of our retreat for April 15th at 5 p.m. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the Head Start report. Mr. Wilcox?
This is going to be brief because we have not met since the last meeting, but I will also say that due to staff conference travel, our meeting is going to move likely to April 25th. But once that's nailed down, the information will be posted on the website.
Questions or comments for Mr. Wilcox on the Head Start report? Okay, fine. Citywide School Building Committee report.
This will be even more brief because we have not met since our last meeting, and our next meeting will be this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. via Zoom.
Thank you. And Finance and Operations.
This won't be quite as brief, but it'll still be pretty brief. First thing I want to say is that we had what I think is our shortest regular scheduled meeting last Monday at 26 minutes, which was a record, which was surprising and a welcome surprise. But we had a good meeting nonetheless, in addition to the action items that we already have addressed tonight. I'll just mention that we had a brief report on the budget forums. As you know, we require budget forums for the public so that the district can talk about the budget requests and budget needs. There was one, I think, this last Thursday via Zoom. There's going to be one tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Cross in person. And I believe that will also be sent out on Zoom. Will there be I'm sorry, Dr. Negron?
That one will be in person.
That'll
We
be
do
in-
have the recording from the webinar that took
Okay.
place on Thursday.
Okay, so that'll be in person tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Cross. The one from Thursday, that recording is or will be posted to the website. And then the district will be presenting at the Alders Finance Committee meeting this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. And so that's a key meeting as we seek the funds that are needed for the district. Without those funds, it's going to be difficult to see how there won't be cuts to programs or opportunities for kids. If we can't have the funding, the basic needs, as you all know, because you've seen the budget presentations, the district, the superintendent has presented a budget which is basically a keep the lights on budget to continue on with the programs. It certainly doesn't meet the needs of the district, but it's very little new programming built into that. So by definition, without having those funds, it's going to be difficult to have those programs. So that's my F&O report.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I will say one other thing, because of the board retreat, the F&O meeting, which is regularly scheduled for next Monday, will have to be moved most likely to Tuesday at 4:30 p.m., but we'll have to confirm that with district staff. And we should have that information tomorrow, and that'll get posted to the website as well. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Questions or comments for Mr. Wilcox? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the governance report. Dr. Benitez?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Ed members, and the public. My report is very brief. I want to remind everybody that you have in your possession policy number 5145.5, which is sexual harassment and is also known by many people by Title IX or related to Title IX. Just wanted to make sure that you do review what we submitted and that you are ready for our second reading on the next board meeting. And I may be requesting approval by then, if nothing needs to change. I also want to remind everyone who has taken the big challenge of updating policies to continue to do so and to submit what you have that would like for the governance committee to review and to bring to the board. I thank everybody who has taken that challenge and continue to work with all of you to keep our policies, or to bring our policies up to date. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Benitez. Questions or comments for Dr. Benitez? Okay, see none, we'll move on to the Food Service Task Group report. Dr. Yarborough.
Yes, thank you. The Food Service Task Force Committee met on March 13th, and just a couple of updates. Just very proud of Mr. Barron Young, who's running the department, as they continue to work through the review that happened of our program, and also made any changes that were recommended, and are continuing to pull staff together to serve our district. Also, one of our vendors, Jeff's Granola, approached us about a donation in the amount of $4,815.40. And Mr. Young passed that on to United Way of Greater New Haven in service of our School Breaks Grocery subgroup. I think I might have mentioned a couple of meetings before that some of the pandemic funding to support food distribution during our breaks, some of that funding left, but I'm very proud of various partners that have stepped forward to participate in that effort. So one is that donation there, but then also students, college students, the Yale Black Men's Union is currently doing a charity challenge and will donate those funds towards the April distribution that's coming up. And also the Hunger Homeless Action Project through Dwight Hall has set up a GoFundMe in order to support the food distribution. The school break groceries will occur on April 16th, and I believe families will receive information through their schools. So we look forward just to that continued partnership. And then I think just the last thing that I'll mention, the district has been doing a number of things for a while as relates to food sustainability. And recently, let's see. Oh, yes. There has been a pilot project on composting. And to date, about over 5,000 pounds of materials have been composted over the last several months. So right now, the district is looking at, well, how do we take something that is a pilot and make it systemic throughout our district? What are the financial implications of this? What are the personnel implications of this? And also, how do we turn this in, tie this in with teaching and learning and just all the other components that make for a rich and robust district as it relates to sustainability and education. The minutes will be posted soon, and our next meeting will be this month on a Wednesday. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Yarborough. Questions or comments for Dr. Yarborough? Okay. Seeing Dr. Benitez, do you go ahead? Go ahead, Dr. Benitez.
Dr. Yarborough, I am so excited on how your committee has gotten the university students to get involved in this, and how everybody's thinking completely outside the box. The compost is amazing. It always hurt my heart when we threw away so much food that I know we could have done something with it. But I am also very glad that you are also talking about implications in terms of staffing and all that. So thank you very much for a very good report.
Thank you so very much. The team is definitely highly collaborative, and I'm very proud of each participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benitez, Dr. Yarborough. Seeing no further discussion, we'll move on to the next item, which is, I'll make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 12006B and E and 1210B 4 and 10 concerning strategy and negotiations with respect to pending litigation in the matter of Light versus New Haven Board of Education and discussion which would result in the disclosure of attorney-client privileged records. And I'll be inviting into the executive session Attorney Alexiadis, Attorney Peter Murphy, and Dr. Negro.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote to go into executive session. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Dr. Joyner?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Dr. Benitez?
Yes.
Ms. Downer?
Yes.
Mayor Elicker?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. And so that motion passes. We'll Everyone back? Okay, we are out of executive session, back in regular session. There were no votes in executive session. And with that being the final item, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Is
So moved.
there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Let's not all jump in at once. Okay. Okay, Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Dr. Joyner?
Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Joy-
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Yarborough? Ms.
Yes.
Downer?
Yes.
Ms. Downer?
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Elicker? And I am a yes as well. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Right.
Night. I will say yes, just in
Good
case.
night.
Bye.
I asked you. Good night. Didn't I ask her? I didn't ask her.